few artists had the impact on Jamaica's dancehall scene as Sugar Minott. His releases provided the blueprints for the rise of the contemporary dancehall style. He was also equally influential as a producer, and his extraordinarily popular sound system helped launch numerous new DJs into the limelight. Lincoln Barrington Minott was born in Kingston, Jamaica, on May 25, 1956. He began his career in the sound systems while still a child, working as a selector for the Sound of Silence Keystone outfit, before launching his own gathering of youth sound system just as he hit his teens. There, too, he carried on merely as the selector. However, in 1969, Minott decided to take the mic himself, not as a DJ, but as a singer, one-third of the African Brothers Roots trio, alongside Tony Tuff and Derrick. The group initially made its way around the amateur talent show circuit, but eventually linked up with the Micron label. African Brothers released a number of singles over the next few years, including Party Night, Gimme Gimme African Love, and A Die System, cut with producer Jah Bunny. The trio also began self-producing. Its first attempt was Torturing, and then launched its own Ital label. By this time, the trio's Abyssinians influence was becoming prominent, as can be heard on Righteous Kingdom, Youths of Today, and Let Us Father. In 1974, African Brothers cut Mysterious Nature with producer Rupi Edwards, which brought them to the attention of Studio One. Their debut song for that label, No Cup No Broke, was also their last, and the trio split to pursue solo careers. Tony Tuff would continue his cultural career before switching with great success to dancehall. In 1987, the up-tempo label gathered up the African Brothers singles for the compilation album Collector's Item, crediting it to Sugar Minott and the African Brothers. Clark's own Dodd was keen to keep Minott, whose talents extended beyond vocals and into session work as both a guitarist and drummer. However, the artist had an even more innovative talent tucked away: an extraordinary ability to compose new lyrics to old songs. Showcased in a scene split between Toasters and Deep Roots, Minott had invented an entirely new style, and Dodd was quick to take advantage. It was pure serendipity, or incredible forethought, that the rhythms the pair used were ones that would soon be tearing up the dance halls. It took a few releases for the Jamaican public to catch on, but by 1978, Minott had his first hit with the single Vanity. More quickly followed, and before the year was out, he released his debut album, Live Loving, which many credit as the first true dancehall album. It would revolutionize the entire Jamaican musical scene. Minott's follow-up album, 1979's Showcase, was equally revolutionary and included not just dub versions, but featured the hip new syndromes that would soon rule the dance halls. Both albums also doubled as hits collections, and included such smashes as Wrongdoers, Oh Mr. DC, House Is Not a Home, and such 9E Wholeness produced chartbusters as No Vacancy, Give Thanks and Praise, and Babylon. In 1983, the Hibbound label gathered up a batch of the Wholeness produced hits on with lots of extra, making up the numbers with extra songs that were equally good. The singer scored another major hit with Never Too Young, produced by Prince Jammy, who also oversaw Minott's third album, 1979's Bittersweet. But that did little to prepare listeners for Minott's third full-length release that year, the phenomenal Ghettoology, a deeply roots album featuring such tracks as Dreader Than Dread, Never Gonna Give Jah Up, and Africa Is the Black Man's Home. A superb dub companion remixed by King Tubby in one of his final projects accompanied the album. And in 2000 the Easy Star label appended this to Ghettoology's CD reissue. The album was the beginning of Minott's move into a dread sound. Black Roots, its follow-up, picked up precisely where its predecessor left off and continued down the Deep Roots path. However, Roots Lovers, also released in 1980, showed a seismic shift in direction as Minott moved strongly into the lovers rock arena, while still maintaining a roots approach. Minott's energy and enthusiasm seemed boundless, and this year also saw the launch of his own labels, Youth Promotion and Black Roots. He debuted his new labels with the self-produced Man Hungry, and followed it up with Hard Time Pressure. That latter single was Minott's British debut and went down a storm. That, coupled with the success of Roots Lovers in the UK and the feverish grip of Lovers Rock Frenzy, prompted the singer to relocate to London after he played Reggae Sunsplash that same year. We got a good thing going. Minott may have been on the other side of the Atlantic, but this did not put a dent in his release schedule, and new singles continued to appear with amazing regularity. Alvin Ranglin oversaw Not For Sale. There was a clutch cut with Linval Thompson including Run Come and Hold On, while Ranking Dread oversaw African Girl. the title track from Minott's new album. It was Donovan Jaman, however, who helped Minott achieve his first UK hit with a cover of Michael Jackson's Good Thing Going. This brought a distribution deal with the RCA label for the smash hit follow-up album Good Thing Going. One of the masterpieces of the Lovers Rock era, Good Thing was to be Minott's last new album for 2 years, given that the market was now being glutted by compilations of older material. In the meantime, the singer released a string of seminal singles: Lovers Rock, a cover of David Gates' Make It With You, a duet with Carol Thompson, In a Dis-Yard Time, Africa, and many more. Meanwhile, Minott also returned to Jamaica to look after his labels. They were not merely vanity outfits, but real concerns, where the singer nurtured young talent. He financed his efforts by freelancing around the studios, cutting tracks for numerous producers and labels. But in truth, Minott loved the workload and would have inevitably been just as prolific even if he didn't have a business to support. He celebrated his return home to Jamaica in fine style with a stunning performance at Reggae Sunsplash in 1983. He would appear annually at the festival for the next 3 years. Herdman hustling Jamaica had undergone a dancehall revolution in his absence, and Minott was keen to participate, releasing the Dancehall Showcase album that same year. The singer was back in top form in 1984, releasing a trio of albums and a string of hit singles. Herdman Hustling was first off the mark and featured a sublime blend of dancehall styles and roots sensibilities, with a touch of Lovers Rock thrown in for good measure. Slice of the Cake was overshadowed by its predecessor, but was still a stellar dancehall record fired by the Roots Radix. While the Lloyd Barnes-produced Wicked Go Feel It equally embraced both cultural and lovers themes. A fourth album was actually recorded with Sly and Robbie, although it did not appear until 1986. However, the pairing did produce the single Rubber Dub Sound Style, which predated Ragga but certainly heralded the new style's imminent birth. Another trio of albums, Leader of the Pack, Ride 'Em, and Time Longer Than Rope, arrived in 1985, along with a further string of singles. The latter two albums were both produced by George Fang and boasted the unmistakable rhythms of Sly and Robbie. There was also an excellent Clash album with Leroy Smart, award winners, and a slew of singles. Somehow, Minott also found time to launch his own sound system, Youth Promotion, with Jah Stitch brought in as selector. Like his labels, the Youth Promotion outfit was a hands-on concern. Minott gave a host of hopefuls a crack at the big time, going on to record the best on his own labels. Ranking Joe, Captain Sinbad, and Ranking Dread all got their start there, while Abashanti, another artist mentored by the singer, was even brought to Reggae Sunsplash, where he appeared beside Minott in 1985 and 1986. The British label Uptempo's Presenting the Posse features a host of the sound system's talent and even adds some dub mixes from Peter Chemist as an added bonus. Sugar and Spice. Over the years, Minott's labels released cuts from the likes of Junior Reid, Tennis Orr, and Barry Brown, and while none would equal Minott's own, the label head gave as much attention to his artists as to himself. Sugar and Spice, recorded 2 years previously with Sly and Robbie and featuring the single Rubber Dub Style, finally saw release in 1986, as did a number of re-recorded songs from Herdman Hustling. A new album also arrived in the form of the hit Heavy in a Reggae Dancehall, a classic record of Ragga Roots dancehall style. Then it was back to New York and a reunion with Lloyd Barnes for jamming in the streets the following year. A pairing with Gregory Isaacs resulted in the Double Doso album from the sweetest and smoothest vocal duo brought together on record. Sufferer's Choice, an entire shelf full of albums, arrived in 1988. Minott recorded By Off the Bar with George Fang, and had a major hit with the title track, which boasted a fabulous rhythm courtesy of Sly and Robbie. Sufferer's Choice also features the duo's sharp rhythms. It was overseen by Peter Chemist, who created a fabulous mix of cultural cuts and lovers' concerns. Lovers Rock in a Dancehall created a similar split of theme and sound, while Ghetto Youth, Dem Rising, and Sugar Minott and Youth Promotion also kept the singer's name on the street. Equally of note was that same year was African Soldier, a concept album concerned with the current state of the continent. It contained some of Minott's most passionate lyrics and emotive vocals, but was mangled by the synth-heavy arrangements and lightweight dance floor pop production. Around this time, Minott linked with a teenaged hopeful named Frankie Paul on the Joe Gibbs-produced Showdown, Volume 2, a showcase for both the veteran and the young superstar to be. Meanwhile, Black Roots released the Best of Volume 1 compilation, bundling up a clutch of the label's releases. In 1999, the Easy Street label would gather up 2 volumes worth of Black Roots material, boasting both hits and unreleased tracks for the Sugar Minot's Hidden Treasures collections. Albums that for once live up to their advertising.